Well, she's got the body for the camera.
Oh, please. Stop.
It's true. Are you excited about it?
And then you will need these today.
I'm vaccinated, is it okay?
Yeah, we're just discussing.
Yep. You're safe company.
Okay, I will be right back. I'm in the restroom. We're waiting on 2 more people.
Make it to the camera. So there are 2 mats, is it better with 2?
Well, I have 2 because this one splits. This is my one from home. If I use those, I use 2 because they're so thin. It hurts my knees to lean on.
That's what I'm thinking.
And that's why I have this thick one from home. Because those are too thin.
Yeah. I didn't realize they were so sweet.
Well, there's everything here you really don't need to bring in. Yeah. I have all my own yoga stuff because I don't need all the yoga stuff. I didn't bring my stuff today, except for my lab. So you guys new to yoga or new to this? Have you done this, what's it called,
Maya.
Have you done that before?
I had it done too.
Have you?
And it's amazing.
Yeah. That's what I heard, that's why I'm here.
And I never knew that I could do it myself.
Little fat bag.
No.
Yellow. For this side.
Yeah, this is a special technique. Most of them
Yeah, I have mattress use it because it really helps. Oh, we're something.
Hi. What's your name?
Michelle.
Michelle. Awesome. I'm Bethany. Matt the block, and then I have the massage balls for you.
Yeah, she could do it like that.
So this face as well is not on camera.
Oh, okay.
I swear. You can even turn around and look. So if you need to make rows, if we need people here, we can do that too.
So we won't be recorded.
You will not be recorded. This is literally just on me.
Leave my shoes somewhere outside.
You will need your shoes off, but you can set them aside on your mat or near your mat. I don't like wearing these. See if they'll connect. Okay, I'm waiting on one person too. So wait a second. Has anyone ever done the myofascial massage?
I had it done in 2,
Yeah.
but I've never had it. I'm always.
You're always massaging. Yes. Is it any balls? Oh. What was I saying? Yes. Yes. Trigger point massage. Very similar to what you get done. You can have someone do it to you, but we're going to learn something I can do it to yourself. Okay. I don't know if this other lady is coming, so. Okay. It's kind of dark in here today, isn't it, Karen?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'll leave the lights on then.
Well, it's just the shades.
Yeah, and to put them back up, I have to climb up on a chair. And, okay. Hi.
talks to me in my ear. Okay, so I'm Bethany again. You guys can stay standing or seated while I go through my spiel. So yoga massage, myofascial massage. We were kind of talking about it, but now that I'm on camera, I'll give the full intro. So myofascial massage is really deep tissue massage or trigger point massage. Your tools are often these massage balls. You guys get to keep these, by the way. Merry Christmas. And a block. This is helpful in some poses. You can also use a pillow, a stack of books, but the books kind of shift. So if you have one of these at home, they're amazing. I use them with my yoga practice as well. And yoga massage, so myofascial gets into the fascia. Does anyone know it? You've heard that before, maybe. So the fascia are kind of connective tissues that envelope basically everything in the body, your muscles. It connects everything together. So from head to toe, you have fascia kind of holding everything together. So it'll separate the muscles from the joints and the tendons, separate the muscles from each other. And when the fascia is healthy or fluid, the muscles can move more fluidly together. So as we age or we stop moving as much or anything like that, we go through an injury, you create new fascia over time. You create new connective tissue, new collagen builds up. And if you don't move that new buildup constantly, the fascia becomes really tight. So that's why when we age, we feel like we're less immobile. But really, the fascia just needs a little love. So that's.
Does inflammation also cause that?
Yeah, I would say inflammation as well, arthritis, tendinitis, that kind of stuff. I would say this definitely helps with that. It's not like a cure, but fibromyalgia is a really good example. My mother deals with that, so lots of conversations with her about that. But you know, when we feel bad, we often don't want to move, and that's, you know, we think if we move, we're going to feel worse, but really, if you move, you're going to feel better. And it's hard to get past that, like, oh, this hurts or this is painful part. But if you do it consistently and make massage or any type of movement, just walking, a part of your daily life, eventually you see the long-term effects. So hi, come on in. That's fine. We're just going through, giving my speech. You will need a mat and a block, and then I have massage balls for you. Are you Nancy?
I am.
Awesome. I'm Bethany.
Hi, Bethany.
This is everyone else. Hi. And you are not on camera.
I'm not yet.
You're not on camera. This is only for me, so no fears. And these are the massage balls for you. We'll need those today. Great. I see some of you doubled up your mats too. I use the really thick kind. You don't need a mat, but since we're on the hardwood floor, what's that? Okay. Yeah. We will be on our knees a lot. This is a little more gentle on the knees than I think like yoga is. So let's see, what else do I have to say about this? You kind of missed my spiel. I don't know if you knew what you were getting yourself into today. Okay, do yoga massage. The other thing I'll say is that every body is different, meaning not everybody, every physical body. So when I say that the ball needs to be somewhere on you, it's a lot of self-exploration and figuring out where the tightness is in your body. So something that's tight on me, maybe like half a centimeter over is a better position for you. So as we come into different postures, it's going to be a lot of you kind of wiggling around and figuring out. When you hit that point, you'll definitely know it. So if you guys ever foam rolled with the long bars, it's similar to that. These get a little bit more, they pinpoint a little bit more the areas of tightness in your body. So when you foam roll, it kind of hurts, but you have to do it. But it's like that good massage hurt. If you get like a really good massage and you're kind of sore the next day, that's probably what it's going to feel like. So I encourage you to kind of sit with that like tension in your body, because that's when you hit that tense point, that's that knot, that's when you know like that's where the ball needs to be. We won't hold these very long, like maybe a minute, but we're going to do head to toe. So you'll get a lot of tools to go home and practice with or use to pinpoint whatever areas of the body kind of trouble you most. And you can sit with these in the pressure points for longer periods of time on your own, if you would like. I would say like 3 to 5 minutes max. You don't want to be there too long because you don't want to be in pain the next day. Soreness is okay, no. And then if you ever feel like you're hitting a joint or a bone, we want to stay off of those. Everything's like very interconnected and close together. So it's probably just a slight shift in the ball or the block, left or right, up or down. What else do I have to say before we get started? I'm gonna knock over my coffee. And then the other thing we'll do is just pause between sets. So this is something I encourage you guys to do if you're practicing at home. Once you massage a single point in the body, or one side and then the other, just to be still for a couple of minutes and notice the changes in your body. Notice what happens. Notice the shift. And I think it's really cool sometimes to also notice the shift between the left and the right. But yeah, so that's what we're gonna do today. Any questions? Okay, cool. We're actually gonna start with the feet, which I love, so we're gonna stand up. Okay, so do you guys want some music? Sure? Yeah? Maybe something chill. Is that coming out of that? It's hard for me to tell with my headphones on. Okay. Just so it's not just the sound of my voice annoying you. Okay, so you just need one ball for this. You can have it on the floor. Okay, so there are 26 bones in your feet and 33 joints. That's a lot of things going on down there. The fascia, sorry, I have a migraine, guys. I'm trying to drink this coffee. I know. So if I pause for a minute. Especially in the feet, but the fascia in general, or any trigger points, they're connected to everywhere else in your body. So you might have seen like like acupressure for your feet, or like when you go to get a massage, the massage therapist is like, if I press on this point, it'll help your right hip from your left foot. There's just lines of energy running through your body. So when we massage one point of your body, particularly the feet, you might feel that, I don't know, your right arm feels better or your right hip. I do not know all the pressure points in your feet. That's more of a Chinese medicine type of thing. But I think it's still really important to focus on the feet and notice the effects it has on the rest of the body, because your feet doing all your work for you most of the day. Okay, so doesn't matter which foot you start with. I'm going to start with my right. We're going to put the ball kind of in the center of our feet, and you're just going to roll the ball forward and back. So really simple. And you want to get from the bottom of your big toe to like the top of the arch of your foot. Now, the way you change pressure here is you just shift your body weight a little bit more onto that ball. So you can come off of it, you can press down a little more. And this is really it. So as you're rolling forward and back, maybe you also turn the arch down and hit that arch of the foot. And depending on what type of shoes you normally wear, this will feel a little different for all of us. And then you can turn to that outside arch. That one's a little bit harder, requires a little more balance. You guys can always hold on to the chair or wall for this too, so that you can sink the weight really into it. And try to relax the foot while you're doing this. So not arching or flexing or pointing. And you'll hear me say that a lot today. So when you're doing the self-massage, to create that weight in the body, you have to let the body relax. If you're tense, you're not going to hit as deep into the muscle. Okay. All right, and then you can make circles. Okay. And then I like to come onto the arch of my foot and kind of just stand on the ball. That one's probably not as intense. And then you can do that with the arch too. If you have long toes, you can like wrap your toes around the ball and roll it between the toes. And this pinky toe gets stuck sometimes, so I have to like pull it out. Okay, so that's it for that side. We're gonna switch to the other side. And start by rolling forward and back from the arch to the bottom of that big toe. And sometimes one foot tends to be a little bit tighter than the other. So this one, for example, this is my left. It's harder to find a tight spot. I just feel like I'm right-handed, so when I walk, I probably dump most of my weight into my right side. Okay, and take the heel of the foot. You want to step onto that ball, you can. Maybe bounce up and down. All right, and then we'll roll to the toes. And so the toes roll from the big toe to the pinky toe. So really simple movements. And as we get into larger parts of the body, It's a lot of stillness. All right. All right, whenever you feel good on that foot, we'll come up. That's it for the feet. Pretty simple, huh? Okay, so now we're gonna come back and sit down. That's the only standing part. We're gonna be sitting the rest of the time. So make your way back down to your seat. Okay. We are going to focus first on our lower portion of the legs. So you will need a block here. I'm going to start with my left leg bent, my right leg long, probably the brick or block on the smallest height. You're going to stick the block right under your calf and place the ball on the block and set your leg on the block. So we're going to start at the bottom of the, so a couple inches above your ankle. You want to kind of avoid this Achilles part. You want to be right above that. Actually, probably turn the block long ways. Sorry. And you can lean back here or lean a little forward, find kind of a place you feel like you can support yourself. And you're just going to roll the leg forward and back. So you might have to lift yourself up just slightly. It helps if you're on a smooth surface like this mat, so you can just kind of scoot your butt forward and back. Okay, so we roll forward and back.
You want just a couple inches?
Yep, just a couple inches. So we'll move up the legs. So we start, when we massage, we start at very small points in the body. You're not massaging large chunks of muscle. That would be more what your foam roller is for. And then I like to turn my toes in, and this will probably, for me, it's a little bit more painful, a little more pressure. So getting this inside edge of your calf there. Yeah. I feel like if you're making that face, you're doing it right. So just,
I already found a bunch of places.
yeah. Okay, and then maybe you roll to point the toes outward. Be careful on the outside edge. There is a bone here on the outside edge of your leg. You don't want to be rolling the bone, but just inside that bone. Cool. Okay. And anytime I move on, you're welcome to stay if you feel like that needs a little bit more work. So you're just going to move the block about halfway up your calf. And we do the same thing. So you'll find probably you have to lean a little further back every time we move the ball. And if it's too much to lift yourself up, you can maybe bend and rebend this leg, probably. Right. Maybe point the toes inward. I feel like I need a bigger block sometimes. It's that inside edge always is a kicker.
What muscle is that?
What muscle is that? I'm not sure. I mean, it's your calf muscle, but yeah. Okay, and then to the outside edge. Watch out for that bone. And I don't know what that bone's called either. Have you guys taken anatomy ever in your life? Yeah, taken anatomy.
Oh, yeah. I used to be a nurse in the States.
Oh, well, do you know what those muscles are? Okay. All right, let's come to.
What? I used to know. Yeah, I used to know.
Okay, a couple inches below the knee. You don't want to be underneath the knee because that would be kind of where your joint, not your joint, the opposite side of your joint. And then we'll do the same thing there.
So that just goes through
Yeah, anatomy, I I find it really interesting but really difficult just because there's so many things, like all those 26 bones in your feet. Someone had to name all those, but I don't know what all they're called. So point the toes inward.
Numbers might get good at it.
Bone one. Okay, now point the toes out. This goes by so fast. I could do this all day if I had time. Okay, when you feel good on that side, just let the legs sit for a moment. I mean, you probably noticed, or at least I do, that calf feels a lot, I guess looser would be the right word for it. Okay, other side. I like keeping the other leg bent, personally. You can keep it straight. This just gives me a little bit more support. Okay, start at the bottom, a couple centimeters really above that Achilles. I know that one. All right, forward and back.
That's the only one I know now.
Okay, point the toes inward. And anytime we're moving, if you find a good spot, you can just be still and dump your weight into that ball. If you could hit like a really good pressure point or tight knot. As you roll the foot to the other edge, maybe press down a little bit and you'll feel the lateral roll. That feels really good too. You can play with that a little bit. Yeah. When I say good, it's like, you guys know what that is. Hurts so good.
It's gonna feel better later.
Yeah. I mean, it feels better if you do this like a couple times a week. You'll really start to notice a difference. Okay, let's move halfway up. And then another thing, after this class, or if you guys continue to use some of these tools at home, please drink a lot of water. It's really important when you massage or stretch to hydrate. I was like, what's the word? Hydrate the muscles. You'll hear that if you go to massage ever too. Your massage therapist will tell you. Drink lots of water. All right, point the toes in. Alright, I'm gonna roll mine to the left side now. Okay, I'm gonna move on up. A couple inches below the Give your knee. You can do anything, most anything that we're doing sitting or laying down today on the wall as well. I find it a little bit harder, or that you don't get as much pressure because it's harder, I feel like, to press your weight into the wall. But if you ever feel like you can't get down on the ground or anything like that, or if you're at, do any of you guys go to an office still? You're at home? No. Some of you guys still work. Come on. Looked at me like, what do you mean work? Okay, point the toes inward. Like you're not gonna get on the ground at work and do massage. I don't know.
I used to try to do some stretching once in a while. It's a cubicle.
Yeah. Okay. One last.
I used to have a tennis ball under my desk too.
Yeah, the tennis balls are good. They're a little bigger.
Firmer.
These are firmer. They have a little more give too, I feel like, than a tennis ball. Okay. I'll come off that. Just take a pause. Yep. Take it out. See how it feels. Okay. So. Just want to make sure we have enough time to get to everything. So you can do the same thing with the hamstrings. I think for time's sake, I might skip it. If we have time, we can come back. But basically the same thing. You would, you probably don't need the block here. I think you could just keep the ball on the mat. But you would want to have your legs wide, and then you move the ball slowly up until you hit right below your sit bone. Yeah, I would do 3 sections of there. So you always want to hit like really small sections of the body. I want to focus on the hips though a little bit because I feel like that's a problem for everybody. And your hips, oftentimes when the hips are really tight or sore, it can affect your knees. The IT band is actually like a large fascial connective tissue there, so that's really tight. Because the IT band is like the outside edge of your thigh from basically the knee to your hip. So that's always really tight. So we're gonna do that. So let's see. Okay, we are going to come onto our backs a little bit. So I'm going to show you kind of where the ball is going to go first on my back. So do you guys know what your sacrum is? Have you heard of that? There's like from like your butt crack here, there's like a kind of a diamond or triangle shaped section of your body that you've probably seen. Basically the small of your back, like right at the bottom of your spine, top of your seat. And you can probably feel it kind of sticks out a little bit, I think. But basically the bottom center of your mat. So balls are gonna land just lateral of the sacrum. So about right here. So it's really the top of your hips. What you wanna watch for is you don't wanna hit this hip bone here. You wanna be right on the cushy part. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna lean back on the balls. So as you do this, you're gonna wanna move the balls around until you find a tight area. And like I said, it's gonna be different on everyone. Yep. So if you feel like you're coming down and it's too much, you can stop and rest on the forearms. I like sometimes to have a block behind me so that I don't have to bring my head all the way to the mat and my head can just rest on a block. So the further your upper back is coming down, the more pressure is going to be on these balls. I would suggest keeping the knees bent. And really, you just breathe here. So we're going to hold this. And just take really deep breaths. And sometimes if I feel like I'm getting up a little bit, so you'll probably feel like less pressure the longer you sit here. Sometimes I lift up my hips just a little bit, like maybe a centimeter off the mat. And that changes the pressure a little bit or the weight of the body in the balls. So relax the body. You're probably squeezing the abdominals or the glutes. The more you can relax here, the more helpful this is going to be. All right, take a couple more breaths. All right, go ahead and remove those balls out from underneath you. And we're just gonna lay flat on the mat for about 3 breaths. So let the body fully relax and reset. Okay, so we'll move down a little bit. So I call this the rainbow crest of your butt. It basically makes this rainbow, this arch here on one glute, and then the arch at the top of this glute. It's kind of following the line of my pants here. Your balls are gonna go right off of the center, like a little bit to the outside edge, but at the top of that squishy part of your glutes. So you're gonna put one ball on each side. So the top of the meaty part, you don't want to be right in the center of your butt. You want to be up a little bit closer to the hip. And play around, you'll find kind of that tight spot. And you can rock the hips side to side here. So little movements, that ball will start to roll side to side with your hips. If you find a tight spot, so the edge, like the far top edge of my right glute is super tight. So I'm just gonna kind of shift my hips to the right a little bit and pause on that area. And then I'm going to explore the left side. So I'm going to shift my hips a little to the left, so more of the weight will come onto that left ball. Okay. And then I'm going to bring the balls out for a minute. We're going to take a little break. And I'm going to show you one more thing with the balls in that position there. Okay, so for this one, you're just going to use one ball. I'm going to start on the right side. So I'm going to put this ball right back where it was at the top of your glutes. And then I'm going to cross my right ankle over my left. And then sit down. Or sit my weight down. So you might want this ball to be a little bit more to the right edge of that squishy part of your butt. And you'll find it when you hit it. This gets a little bit more to that outside edge. So a few breaths here. You guys feel that one? Yeah, okay. Okay, go ahead and lift off that one. And we'll switch sides, so bring the ball to the left. And slide that under your hips, cross the left ankle over the right knee. Again, play around with finding the right spot. And you may, so like this side, I'm having a harder time finding something that's tight, and that might be the case. So it's not always going to feel the same. Side to side, you might find that you need to linger longer on one side than the other. You don't have to do the same thing on each side of the body. A couple more breaths. All right, go ahead and remove that ball. And then lay straight again, so extend the legs. Let the body be heavy. In yoga, we call this Shavasana or corpse pose. Okay, go ahead and sit up. We are going to do the quads, which are also always really tight. So we're going to come on. This is the only pose you're going to do on your knees today. You just need one ball. So we're going to come to like a tabletop position. So the knees will be right under the hips, shoulders right over the wrists. You're going to bring the left knee forward and extend the right leg long. Good. So, yes, come out at any time if you would like. Okay, the ball is going to go, right above the kneecap of the long leg. Remember, not on the kneecap or not on that joint. And then you can stay lifted. You can fold down. And you can roll the ball up and down a little bit here. If this doesn't feel like enough, you can bend and straighten the leg, and that, I swear, will really get you. But keep the knee on the mat if you're bending and straightening. So the ball will probably come a little bit higher if you're doing that. And then every time you bend the knee, there'll be a little bit more force down onto that ball. So you can stay in the center. You can roll to the outside or inside edge of the bottom of that quad and do the same thing. Holy moly. So try not to flex the quad here. That's the tendency. When we're working any muscle, that's the tendency. Just relax. Let the hips drop. Okay, if you did the side, like the edge, outside edge, or inside edge, maybe explore. The other side. All right, how are we feeling on that one? Are you ready to stop? Okay, so plant the palms down and bring the right leg to meet the left so you can reset that tabletop. Okay. If you want to wiggle the hips, feel free to add any movement to this, and then we'll do the other side. So the right knee will come forward, left leg long. The ball goes a couple inches above the left kneecap. And you can stay lifted or fold down. Start to roll that ball forward and back a little bit. Sometimes I find it helpful to tuck my left toes under, my back toes. Helps me move my leg forward and back a little easier. And then I'm going to bend and straighten my leg on this side. That's probably my favorite. So the quads are a little bit difficult sometimes to stretch out for a lot of people because it hurts a lot of people's knees. So this is a little bit better for the knee joint since that leg is staying long. Okay, roll to the outside edge. You want to explore that side. Right, and then the inside edge. I like that one's a little harder to find a good spot on. Okay, a few more breaths. Okay, go ahead and come off that ball. Draw the knees back in. And then you can sit back down. You can come off the knees. So maybe just sit for a moment with the legs long. Maybe shake it out. Okay. How are we feeling? Okay. Excuse me. So for this one, we're going to need the blocks. We're going to come back on our back. So let me show you a little bit what's going on here. So your traps, top of your shoulders. This is the place everyone wants massage, right? When you're like, ask your friend massage me. They always go here because this is always tight. So the balls are going to go right at the top of your traps here. And we're going to come to lie down. And then as we lie down, you'll lift the hips, block on the lowest height, and you're going to set the block right underneath your hips. You actually might want to do that first. Maybe that's probably a little easier if you set the hips up first. And then just lift the upper back up a little bit and situate those balls. Okay, so right at the cushy part of those traps. To make this more intense, you would change the height of the block. So your hips would come up higher. The higher you lift the hips, the more the weight sinks down into those balls there. For this one, I would recommend just laying still. If you're up for going further, you can reach the arms up overhead. Now don't do this really fast. Maybe just slowly start to reach the arms up overhead. They don't have to touch all the way down behind you. They probably won't because your traps are probably so tight. But you can kind of see how that changes the pressure. And we'll take a few breaths in this area. Okay, take one more big breath. Let it out. Okay, slowly lift the shoulder blades up off the mat and let's remove those blocks, or balls, remove the block. And then we take a pause. So remember pausing between each set just to notice the body. Oh. Okay, and then, so we might get interrupted for a second. Yeah. I'm going to show you guys one more thing. You guys can come in and get weights. Just don't try not to walk in front of the camera. Go ahead. Yeah, so they're going to come in and get weights while I show you guys this last pose. So this last one is for your neck, and we're not going to use the balls. We're actually going to use our blocks. This one, I told you guys I have a migraine right now. I really want this one. This is really good for headaches. So the block's gonna come behind you, and let me just show you first. So And if this hurts, please just come out of it. It's fine. You're gonna let the block hit like right at the bottom of your hairline, probably for most of us.
Under your hairline or right?
Right under it. And I don't know what this is called either, but like right here, these two pressure points. So you're gonna want your neck to hit this. I like being on the tall height, and sometimes I tilt the block. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I tilt the block so that it's not flat, it's a little bit on its edge. And then that means the outside edge of this block, you're gonna get a little bit more pressure on the back of the neck like that. It does require a little balance on the block though. So you can either, like not flat, but I tilt it forward. Okay. So you can stay here. Or take really slow movement. So I want you guys to go as slow as possible. We're on our neck, so we don't ever want to move super quickly. So maybe like as slow as a turtle, you start to turn your head to the right. And not all the way to the right, just so that maybe like at a 45-degree angle. And you should feel that block rolling along the muscles in the back of your neck. What's up? Yeah. I love this one. So then you can pause in a good spot. Okay, and then you start to come back, move really slow back to center. So you should be moving so slowly that if someone's watching you, they shouldn't be able to tell you're even moving. And then maybe roll the neck to the left, just a tad, that like 45-degree angle. This one's really good before bed too. You can do this with the massage balls, if putting 2 balls. Yeah, you can. I just find it a little bit harder to keep the balls like in place, so I like using the block, but you can use the balls. Okay, and then we'll head back to center just for a breath. Okay, and then let's take that block out from underneath us. Karen, if you have to go, I totally understand. I'm not offended. I know these classes are back to back. And we'll just let the head rest on the mat. So if you want, you can come back to that Shavasana with the long legs, arms long. And we'll just take a couple breaths here. So we touched a lot of areas from head to toe. There's so much more we could explore here, but I only have an hour with you guys. So maybe we'll do this again. But yeah. I know, yeah. Right. If you want to keep laying down, you can, but if you're ready to come up, you can come up. There's nothing in this room after this, so if you want to play around, you can also do that as well. But that's it. That's the myofascial massage. If you guys have any questions, I have to stick around anyway. I teach again at 4. Yes. Let me shut this off real quick.